Well,
So,
let's close out with this. You know, we talk about very beginning what you need to do to become a wrestler, and we talked about, of course, character, and then we talked about the fans. I want to close out today talking a little bit more about the fans and something you said earlier. Um, a lot of people complain, people in the industry, and even fans complain about fans these days. Fans these days, you know, their chants, the what chants, maybe sitting on their hands. And it seems to me that you were saying earlier that you like the mindset that it's 100% incumbent upon the wrestlers to create that environment with the fan in the building. Is that how you would put it?
I still think that.
Absolutely. What are things that wrestlers could do better to kind of in that situation? If you said earlier, maybe not do something you've done before, but there's no little tricks beyond that. It's just being as an original as you can be, or doing something different, or reading the crowd, or how does that work?
Try to learn how to read a crowd and try to get them to make a different kind of emotional response than that is the standard thing at this present time. I'm not
But
gonna. I do see things and I tell certain people. I'm not gonna say it out loud or because then everybody will start doing it. But
right,
there's different forms of. There's one that comes to mind recently. There's like sometimes fans are used to what they're used to at the moment, and it takes something to change that. And it can be all kinds of different things. And different characters and different things that you can figure out. But sometimes there's things that look a bit too real. And people read who how can I say this? People read into it wrong. They'll go, oh, they weren't getting any reaction. No, they were getting just a different, because I watch crowds as well. It's another thing I don't know if a lot of people do that, and I don't blame them not being able to, because they don't work the amount of house shows that I used to work. I used to work a lot of live events, so I hadn't got the stress and the pressure of TV. When you're on TV, it's a different TV wrestling, and wrestling regularly is completely different. In my opinion, certainly felt that way to me. But when I had a live event crowd, I'm going to make that crowd if I can. And sometimes you're told not to. That's another thing. Sometimes, can you just keep them down a bit? Because the next match needs to get all the, yeah,
uh,
whatever
well,
you need.
so that's a thing. Like, don't don't get the crowd so into it because we want to
But
save.
there's only so many people you can say that to, because most people don't have got big egos.
Right, right.
There was a time when it was go out first and just have a whatever match, what you were giving your instructions as to what kind of match to have. Not that you have to talk about it. It's just, okay, this is opening match, no punches. I've heard Americans say there's no this because you had to build a card. Well, now we're in a world of, and it's just the way it is. It's not me knocking anybody younger. Everybody wants to steal the show, but it wasn't your job. But there's very few people that you get actually asked to do that. Can you go out and just do this? Yep. Just need a nice match just to get them right, because this is following. Okay. But that got less and less as well as the 2000s moved on. There wasn't as many people could actually do that, or willing to do, or knew how to do that, because it's all just a byproduct of the fact that of less work all the time.
Right.
It's nobody's fault. It's just different now. That's why I'm the old wrestler that understands all this, because I try and figure out how would I fit into this world, and I go, I don't know if I could.
Right.
Because I got it. I learned these tricks by working God knows how many times a year, like, there's twice a day all through the summer, a minimum of twice a day. with families and a family audience and not a more modern audience. And so it's, or you get 7 minutes on TV. What are you going to go out and, how can you say that to anybody now? Go out now, just keep them down a bit. No, you're going to go out and
Right.
you want your spot. I get it. So it doesn't even get said anymore. There's a lot of the things that were said in my time as a wrestler that don't get even mentioned anymore, because you can't expect people to go out and not try and make a name for themselves. But that used to be certain people's jobs to do that. But the thing, sometimes things are a bit too, like I saw that recently where people were, two fellas come back and they were like, what do you think? With the crowd seemed a bit not right. I said, well, I'm telling you, I was watching the crowd and it wasn't what they were expecting. They were there to chant and to do what they normally do. And it looked a bit too violent for them.
Mm.
And they were too real. And they were like, I don't know how to act. There's no, so it's me knowing different crowds, or sometimes it's me being the honest one and saying, well, it's because you just didn't do enough of the right stuff. But sometimes it's because it's too real, or that's just one example. Right. Sometimes it's just not enough effort. Sometimes because things aren't done well enough. Well, yeah.
Right, but it's all situation dependent, right?
All situation
dependent. And that experience, which is hard to replace, is what gets you there.
Experience, and how do you get experience working? I mean, I'm in AEW now. You work once a week.